and welcome back to MDG Media and coverage of the 2024 Copenhagen Open, a Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series event. This is round 1 back 9 FPO feature card coverage here at Valby Park, and I'm Connor Wood, and with me, Maxime Tanghe.
Hey yo, we are back, man, for the 9 last holes of the first round. Pleasure, it's pretty tight. Kaidi on fire. Let's see how everything is going, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Some players are already setting a hot pace, and with some new holes introduced, a new course record to be set this year on technically a new layout. Always exciting. We see Kaidi Allsalu coming in at 5 under through the front 9, even with a single bogey. Anniken right behind her on our card at 1 under, 4 strokes back. Rachel at even. Eveliina at 2 over. Has been a little bit wild off the tee. A lot of power, but catching herself off the fairways on occasion. We will continue our round here on hole 10, an 83-meter par 3. Players will need to throw a low shot with hopefully some ground play, although on this grass not always coming. You find this basket tucked away behind these 2 big guardian trees. A lot of players will try the low skip shot, some will play the pure hyzer. We see a chase card check-in with Team MVP's Silva Saarinen. Fantastic finish prospect here.
Yeah, with a good shot. It's definitely a must-take birdie, I'd say. One of the easiest on the course for the ladies. Clean birdie. And let's go back on the lead card. Anniken not happy with the forehand. Too wide. And I think a bad angle release out of the hand. C2 opportunity for the birdie.
You'll see Kaidi here playing that pure hyzer. And you see that lack of a skip that I mentioned there, but still a great throw, leaving herself about 7 or so to the basket for the birdie. We'll go to Rachel here. Looks to have disked up a little bit, I believe a fairway here, to try and find some of that ground play. But once again, really sticky green.
That's crazy, man. Weird reaction. I didn't even notice that.
And a third.
What?
I mean, they just don't skip there, Max. I can't tell you why, but on that little patch of grass, discs really don't like to finish on the edge.
I'm going to check this tomorrow.
We'll go here to Anniken. Long bid. Little backstop there to keep her close. Eveliina's chance now from outside the circle, about 12 or 13 meters.
Come on. Oh, I like the line.
Rachel is good for it. She's been a little bit low throughout her putts today. A good adjustment.
Good correction. Well needed, just below the par now. And what to say about that? 6 down after 10 holes, 7 birdies. And she looks super calm.
Yeah, fantastic composure. I mean, all 4 of these players have found their respective wins at the top level. Each of them cut from the cloth of champions, but which of them will be able to reach their potential this weekend, we will find out. Certainly a treacherous hole here on 11. Par 4, only 130 meters, but with this newly introduced and constructed triple mando, players will be forced into this incredibly tight gap down the fairway. You want your disc to make any amount of progress that you can through that mando, where the fairway begins to bend right and open up a little bit. This basket tucked away inside this barrier of late trees. A really great birdie to pick up if you can, but just so many obstacles. We get another look at Silva Saarinen here.
Yeah, making the mando. good shot. She will have an open look. Hyzer line. Yep.
And known for her incredibly strong putting, I think this range well within her capabilities.
Yeah. She's definitely one of the best FPO putter in the world. I'm not even sure, being able to see who would be better than her. Maybe Ons Coggins, Christine.
At the moment, she's certainly up there, though, a great tier of players to be listed alongside of. And Kaidi catching the Mando sign just on the right. You can see, in fact, how much flight your disc needs before even getting through the triple Mando. Very demanding. We see Rachel now.
Yep.
That's through. Anniken,
Yeah.
her backhand, if she can finish to the right and get through, is with the highest potential of these players, but unfortunately that late release will leave her very early, however, in the fairway.
Yeah. That's a good shot. That's really deep. I don't know if she will have an easy line to the basket.
I think you take the really straight shot here. It does open up. The straighter you get, the less trees you have in your way. Kaidi forced to simply pitch back to the triple Mando.
Oh, that's... Yeah. Oh, but I don't understand this. Did she miss the Mando?
It looked to me as if she made it, but Max, I think she ricocheted back through the Mando plane off the tree. So with the recent changes in the rules, if you pass the Mando from either direction, it counts as a missed Mando. Even though she made it, I think she kicked back over the Mando from the backside, but she'll continue to chip away. And we see some other players here trying to access this green, navigate those final trees. Eveliina so far up, she's left with just this chip hyzer forehand, and fantastic. Very well done.
Yeah, so comfortable. Wow, I didn't know about that rule, Connor.
I think it's fairly new, and I'll be honest, I'm speculating as to that's how she was there, but I can't imagine another way. She looked to have made that triple Mando cleanly.
Oh, Rachel, barely in, just over the cage, but made it.
Kaidi with a very solid par save. After finding a lot of trouble off the tee hitting that triple Mando, she pitches out and still manages to make her way down there.
Good birdie for Eveliina. Wow, and a tough triple bogue.
Her second of
Two
this
huge
round.
mistakes for Anniken. Yeah.
But certainly hole 11, one of the most difficult. Hole 12, slightly more forgiving. A par 4 at 159 meters. You have that early initial low ceiling to contend with. You want to try and position your disc into a straight look down this second tunnel with a lot of very thick rough to the left and the right. These trees, if you're more than a few meters in, tend to prevent any sort of look outwards that isn't a pitch out. So players are going to want to keep clean and stay on the fairway. Yet another check-in with Silva Saarinen as she just continues to dissect this course with her technical gameplay.
It's pretty fun. She seemed unhappy, but it's a perfect shot. Yeah, that's less.
Fortunate result there.
Yeah, fortunate kick. So hard to have a smile.
I think enjoying the game has to be the priority for these players at the top level. Go it week in and week out to all of these high stakes tournaments.
But I think she enjoys. She's just showing nothing. And it's definitely not a critique, you know, don't get me wrong, but it's crazy, you know, I would be so happy about that.
No, I get it. I mean, these players are in the zone, even if they don't show emotion outwardly. I think all of these competitors happy to be playing on such a big stage. And if I was playing like Silva Saarinen, I'd also be pretty happy with my play. You see, a lot of these players hyzering a little bit early into the left side rough might provide them only with a forehand on the second shot. You want to try and sit it down just here, and Rachel does well. A few meters shorter of the others will offer her a much straighter look to the basket.
I really love the FPO layout for this hole. It's fair. And then you would tell me, and you would talk about the MPO field hole 12. I hate it. I must say it. It's hard.
Certainly a little bit of a different shot. But again, you notice these par fours are none of them particularly long at Copenhagen, but requiring just super precision, constantly hitting small landing zones, controlling angles. They're not always long, but you can see here, still certainly not easy.
Shut down for Rachel. Strong branch.
Kaidi having to just chip up out off the knee. Rachel, now with an open look to the green, does take advantage of it. She is just outside the bullseye.
Yeah, good ups from Rach. And Anniken. Same for Kaidi.
Eveliina going to the jump putt here, uphill. Stalls out a touch early. And I think that's the least movement I've ever seen on this, the flag of this green. It's beginning to pick up a little bit now, but really calm. This one is normally ripping. A lot of these holes in Copenhagen that are more exposed and out of the woods can really be pretty tough to putt on.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely right. But uncommon, because today it was definitely calm in the morning. A bit more in the afternoon, and we have still Sonia Laine, 4 down through 18. She's done.
From top competition to the new players, from supporting women to funding new courses. PDGA Europe is much more than competition. Visit pdga.com/join and grow the sport.
We move on. Hole 13. A 75-meter par 3, another short one that is very attackable. Players will have to hit this gap between the two trees here. The fairway slopes ever so softly right to left as well as downhill towards the end. And with a lack of grass here, you can very quickly find yourself OB left on that road if you come in a little bit too hot. So players are going to pick their favorite disc, try to end softly left to right to mitigate that slope.
And another chase card. Oh yeah. Good control. Yeah.
You gotta love when you can tap in your birdie with the glove on.
Yeah. That's a good sign. And Eveliina taking the outside road. Really good shot. She will need to make a 7 to 8 meter spot. She needs this one. She needs birdies now. And she needs to hurry.
Kaidi just low from the hand, didn't have the height to fly. But Eveliina's overstable driver play is very favorable to avoid. the OB left. It really is the only significant danger on this hole, which Rachel comes in pretty hot, but slows down in time. Really great line, and trusting the flip of that disc to perfection.
Yeah, exactly. Hyzer release, I was worried about the fade down OB. It's amazing control. Same for Anniken, a bit low, but yeah. C2 putt, 12 meters.
And even on the approach or the long putts, that green can quickly drag your putter a bit further away than you might like.
Yeah.
You see a fantastic putt from Anniken there.
Come on, she's so comfortable, C2. Impressive. Oh yeah. And a good one for Eveliina. Good putting session. Back to par.
Go to Rachel. She slid a little bit long, but she is good for it as well. This FPO card. Fantastic on the green here today.
Oh, and a bit more shy on this one. Low left, staying in the chains. On to hole 14.
Here we are, a 165-meter par 4. This initial shot off the tee is going to push players between these two Mando trees, although to be honest, they're pretty hard to miss there early in the fairway. Anything that can break out into this open area will set themselves up for their second shot. It's really pretty much impossible for players to get a completely straight look to the basket, so a lot of players, rather than as the drone flies entering the tunnel, will simply throw over the first wall of trees and try to spike hyzer into the green. But this is a hole that always feels like you're throwing a slightly different second shot. Eveliina absolutely smushing this through the gap, but a bit overturned.
And you need to make a choice, because if you go too far too left, you're just against a tree wall. So yeah, better to be short and to have a wide angle.
You mentioned it. That might be a little bit too long for a comfortable spike hyzer over the first wall of trees. And distance control really important here. A lot of players going to the driver on the par 4, but needing to be sure they're not too close to throw over that wall. Anniken, I think, in quite a healthy spot.
Yeah, and for a lefty, I think it's completely different game plan wise. Anniken really need the distance, or maybe she's super comfortable with the spike hyzer forehand, but and she has a fade going the right way to widen the angle.
So Eveliina almost wide and far enough to play the traditional entrance to the tunnel, and wow, managing the width perfectly. She is in the green for birdie. It's so rare you see an approach shot not touch any of those trees.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to notice it on the frame, but what Eveliina just did is amazing. It's so tight. The low road is so hard to handle. Cheers to that shot.
And I'd say this is the most common strategy shown from Kaidi there, the spike hyzer over the wall of trees, but really difficult to manage the distance even in the wind. We saw Rachel as well with a layup to try and open up the angle, but she's gone a little bit too far on her layup, and now she's playing this very awkward off the knee patent pending.
Yeah, but she looks pretty comfortable. Good shot.
And I think a great sign of a player's athleticism to manage those awkward stances, as we'll get now to the green.
I wanted to mention, you're right, I think her past as an ultimate frisbee player is helping. And a good save.
And a fantastic birdie for Eveliina, as we see her find a stroke on the remaining players of her feature card. that 3. Very rare. Hole 14 averaging a 4.25 here in round 1. Little tricky.
Good bird for Eveliina.
Another slightly tricky hole. Here we see 15, a 91-meter par 3. Again, these same trees, same type of tree that we saw on the last hole lining the left and right side. These are incredibly thick and incredibly low-hanging. Max, we spoke a bit about how this tournament is taking place later in the year, in May now, and the green is really growing. It's really thick. We're fully into spring in Copenhagen, and the rough is very unforgiving, at least on this hole.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely need to stay on the fairway or you will struggle. Oh, yeah. Fairly good kick out of the woods. She will have a line, even a putt for the bird. Yes, madam. C1 hit for Rachel. And Anniken is +1 with 2 triple bogeys.
Certainly speaks to her perseverance. A lot of players taking 2 triple bogeys in 1 round would not have a great mindset to fight back or at least struggle to do so. She is continuing to push the birdies on every hole as if they didn't happen, and that's exactly what you need to do to try and continue the push for the top. And speaking about players at the top, Kaidi Allsalu, another birdie opportunity for her coming up.
Oh, we were close to have another highlight from circle 2. Ouch.
Oh, a little bit slippery there for Eveliina.
Yeah, it deserved better. And Kaidi slowed down a bit. Oh, and Rach caught the bend. Really rare thing to see. A bit more aggressive on this one. She will take a par. 2 down on the round.
And this hole, at least for the FPO field, played as one of the few below par, averaging 2.94.
Yeah, and we don't have a single birdie on the card.
Three holes remaining here for our first round. We see here hole 16, a 143-meter par 4. This initial gap out of the woods, so important to hit cleanly. Players will then break out into this very open fairway with just a few intermittent bushes along the way. You will find the green perched on a hillside, sloping softly down as well as right to left. So if you can come into this green with a left to right ending shot, it plays quite favorably. You see here Silva Saarinen on the chase card check-in.
Yeah, decent.
Light work for Silva. Certainly one of the most relaxed looking players, I think.
Exactly.
From the FPO field.
Yeah, this birdie looked pretty easy. And that's a smash. Come on. Full flight for Eveliina, I like it. Almost on the next hole tee pad. Wow. She's almost putting for eagle.
I think a jump putt for her. She's been leaning on that a little bit today already. Rachel here as well. Just getting one out there. It's not where you want it to be, but there is a lot of space to work with.
Come on. Yeah, good smash for Anniken also.
We'll see Kaidi now.
5 bars in a row. Slowing down the pace on the back nine.
And let's be honest here, Max. Hole 16 for the FPO field, an open 143-meter par 4. I think a birdie every single player on this card wants to get. And the one that averaged easiest on the day at 3.69, about a third of a stroke under par. This is certainly one that probably feels like a must-get at the top level.
Exactly. That's a mistake. A par will feel like a bogey. And Eveliina, oh. Okay, hopefully she will make this one. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, after such a good drive, I'd say a huge mistake for Eveliina. She needed this one. 7 down for Kaidi. With a second birdie on the back nine, if I don't mistake.
I believe so. Yeah. You mentioned Kaidi's par streak a little bit. I think could potentially also be some smart game planning after a really hot start to simply preserve the score when she wasn't in position. She didn't push outside her reach or take on any unnecessary risk. She kept her good scoreline, and you can see she's now gotten herself to 7 under here on hole 16. Certainly going to be a very competitive score to push the rest of the field.
Yeah, definitely. 7 down, and there is still 2 holes to play, so let's see.
Here it is, hole 17, an 89-meter par 3. The basket has been moved this year a little bit to the left and on top of this mound. An incredibly high flag on this one, pinpointing the location to players from the tee. You have OB along the left side and rough deep. You really want something that crashes into the mound and gives you a short putt.
I've never seen a flag like this. So high. But the change is definitely, to me, is in favor of the field. There is OB close from the basket, but you can just go wide.
I think it now favors much more the right-handed backhand, whereas the previous position was much more naturally shaping for the forehand.
Exactly.
At least for the right-handed player. Anniken from the left hand, throwing backhand here as well, catches the back of the hill. A good throw.
Yeah, the only difference now is that the basket is on a hill, so yeah, you're in danger on the green. You need to be careful.
And I think that thick grass saving Kaidi there as she was hyzering towards the OB. Eveliina just going to spike this one in. So much height.
Yep. Good putt. Good drive. Sorry.
We'll see a good putt here now. But unfortunately not from Kaidi in this moment. She goes off to the right. Anniken does provide us, though, with a solid putt there.
Yeah, and again, back under par. She deserves it. It's a tough round for Anniken. Without 2 huge mistakes, she would be 7 down, as Kaidi is. So I'd say pretty solid round for Anniken. Just, yeah, she needs to clean 2 holes for tomorrow. And a good putt from Rachel. 2 in a row, 4 down.
Eveliina uncommitted to that putt there a little bit, but good on the comebacker. And you mentioned it, currently Anniken and Eveliina at the same score of 1 under, although each arriving there in very different ways. Doesn't show on the scorecard, however. Tomorrow they'll be playing from likely a similar position. We go to the final hole here of Valby Park and Disc Golf Course, hole 18. For the FPO field, a par 6. Yes, you heard me right. 327 meters. You have a straight shot into a playing like an island where you then cross over into the second leg of the fairway, navigate your way through these many trees, combat the distance as best as you can, and find your way to this green with an elevated basket and OB on all sides. This first shot out the gap, you don't want really more than about 80 or so meters to be in the sweet spot. Anything near that tee pad right there is perfect. The second throw really asking for a lot of distance in the open field. We see her third throw here, opting for the standstill. Still has a lot of trees between her and the green.
Oh yeah, that's a par 6. Wow, that's the second time in 17 years that I see that.
How do you feel about it? Do you think there should be an alternate tee pad for FPO that encourages a par 5, or are you happy with them keeping the tee pad for MPO, FPO? For MPO, it is a par 5, and simply adding one. How do you feel about those two options?
I don't know, it's just a number, so I don't mind the par 6. It's just we are not used to it, but I'd say it's okay. No worries.
I think all these players would rather play the full hole in all its glory than an abbreviated version to, as you said, match just an arbitrary number. I think it makes more sense to keep the strong hole as it is.
Yeah, you know, like, I don't know how the ladies feel about it, but I know when we were building Belgian Open layout, you know, we asked Annelie to know what she thought about the changes we made for the FPO, and she was not mad, obviously, but just a bit disappointed because she really liked the layout she was playing, and it was the same as MPO. So I think the ladies like to play the same layout, maybe just changing the pars. That would be a good question for some interviews in the future.
Well, we see them already having navigated the first shot. It really is just a placement of between 70 and 85 meters. The second shot here is quite important. If you want to birdie, you want to push as much distance out of these second and third shots as possible, as you have the most open space. But they are actually crossing over a river of OB here. It's not quite so easy to see, but if you throw it any less than maybe 80 or 90 from where Eveliina was, you might not even be in bounds, but she has crushed that well over into the fairway.
Yeah, and a good shot from Eveliina. Yeah, that was a dangerous bet for Rachel. Long distance to make from the knee.
And she exactly did not cross over the OB river, right? So that's why we saw her throwing from even shorter than where her drive landed, but she makes the adjustment.
Yeah, good recovery though. And it's still par 6, so there is some room. And Anniken is gonna fight for the birdie, if I don't mistake.
I think she's pretty close. Remember, it's a par 6, right? So that will be her fourth shot upcoming from about 50 or so meters.
Mm-hmm. You're pretty interested in a throw-in, if I understand.
No, Max, that'll be her fourth up to the green for 50. She'll tap in for 5.
Yeah.
Golden on the birdie. Look, that snuck, unfortunately, OB out to the left.
Yeah, a bit aggressive from Eveliina. She will pay the price. And a good shot from Rachel. She's really controlling that red disc she's using a lot. I'm not sure what it is, but she really trusts that hyzer release and flip up. Really cool to see.
Kaidi with the soft Anheuser to control the landing. Really well done. Both her and Anniken in the bullseye. Eveliina, seeing the elevated, simply says, look, I'm going to take no more than 2 to put it in from here. Rachel, however, a little bit closer, does take advantage.
My God, good save. Super high right side. Good catch.
And you can see if you can keep yourself in the fairway, the birdie certainly manageable. Hole 18 averaging a 5.97. Pretty much playing to its par 6 rating in difficulty. Interesting to see.
Exactly. You understand why they took that choice. Pretty smart.
And as we close out the first round, Kaidi Allsalu in the lead with a scorching hot 8 under. Really impressive, showing just how she won last year's Copenhagen Open, potentially looking to recreate that here this weekend. And the field hot on her heels. We see Rachel at the end with a strong finish, 4 under, Anniken 2 under, Eveliina at 1 under. We appreciate all of you joining us here for this round 1 coverage. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You can check us out on Patreon. And Max, as always, a pleasure.
Yeah, a pleasure, man. Thank you, and see you guys on the second round.